Good evening, everybody, and welcome to FaceOff. It's a new season and a new look, as you can tell. No, this is not Vin D'Anton, Rob Cunningham, and Kevin Kunzman. Alongside Kyle Sullender and Derek McCauley, I'm Ryan Ravel. How you doing today, guys?
I'm doing pretty good, man.
Pretty good?
I'm doing all right.
All right, well, why don't we just get right back into it? It's a new season, and the first thing we're going to discuss today, we're 4 weeks into the NFL season, and there's two teams that have surprised us in a bad way. Between the Pittsburgh Steelers and these guys right here, the New York Giants, who would you say has had the more disappointing start so far? And we're going to start with you, Derek.
I'm going to have to go with the Giants just because when I was looking back through the stats with Pittsburgh 2 years ago, 2010 and 2011, they both had 12-4 records both of those years, but they slipped to 8-8 last year. That's kind of signaling that they're going to go into mediocrity. I pretty much predicted that they were going to start being a crappier team than they were the year before. Meanwhile, the Giants, you can't really predict 2 years after winning the entire thing, Eli Manning's going to throw a goose egg at us like he did this year. 6 touchdowns, 9 interceptions in 4 games is just ridiculous.
Kyle, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree that I thought the Steelers were going to be worse coming in, but I expected it more. I mean, I guess the Giants were more of a surprise because I saw the Steelers coming. I've watched that offensive line deteriorate as the years have gone by. They're getting older. They don't really have a running back anymore. The defense is Troy Polamalu, and that's about it.
You don't like Le'Veon Bell? He's a
rookie,
star running back?
but he's a rookie. You know, you can't really take it as it is right now. So I saw the Steelers coming more than I did the Giants.
Yeah, and I mean, we're all going to have to agree on this one. I think the Giants are definitely the most disappointing. Not for me as an Eagles fan. I'm okay with it. But just in general, like you said, you're coming off a Super Bowl from 2 years ago. You know, this team was a legitimate championship team 2 years ago, and they haven't changed that much. Mm-hmm. Eli Manning, in my mind, Eli gets too much heat. I think regular season-wise, he's not Peyton. I understand that. But the guy's done a lot for the New York Giants. I just don't know what's going on with them. You're watching them. I'm watching these games, and it's just a train wreck.
It's
the
almost
entire game's a train wreck.
It seems as if they're almost giving up on themselves mid-game.
I mean, at least the Steelers make games close.
No, I definitely thought the Giants' defense would be better, too, at least up front. I thought they'd have a little more pressure, a little more sense of urgency.
Still have Tuck and Pierre-Paul. Like, it's just, I don't know. It's just, I'm watching the games, and it's just, as an Eagles fan, I almost feel bad for Giants fans having to watch these things.
Especially that game against Carolina.
Oh,
they're
brutal.
going down 30, 38, nothing. They had nothing.
And facing a Carolina squad that's not that good.
No, not at all.
I mean, Cam Newton's a playmaker, but in the end, they shouldn't be losing 38-0 to Cam Newton and the Carolina Panthers.
No.
So,
well, nobody should.
Well, no, but yeah. So the Steelers again, I think we all saw coming. The Giants, on the other hand, a bit of a surprise. And speaking of, you could say disappointment so far, we go to our Philadelphia Eagles now. Chip Kelly. To the first 4 games, the Eagles are 1-3. We saw some good, we saw some bad. So I'm going to start with you, Derek, again on this one. If you had to give him a grade so far, a letter grade through the first 4 games, what would you give him?
I originally went on a scale of 5. I went 2.5, but I'm going to give him a C overall if I had to give him a letter grade. The only thing that I can really give praise to Chip for is he brought a lot of excitement back into the offseason for Philadelphia sports. And let's face it, we're in the doldrums right now. We're not really doing that great. But it actually made it relevant. People were talking about it. It was buzz about Chip coming in because Andy Reid had been there for so long. But going forwards, we really only had 1/2 of really good football against Washington. He looked pretty good against San Diego. But other than that, it's just been bad.
All right. I'm going to give him a C as well. I'm going to agree with you on this one. For me, it's not necessarily the whole fact that there's like buzz in Philadelphia now. I think more so just for me, it's that it hasn't been the start that we thought it was going to be based off the Washington game. After starting that well, we did not think we're going to lose 3 in a row now to San Diego, Kansas City. We just didn't really think that was going to happen. Denver, we all knew. But so I think from the start from Washington, it's a bit of a disappointment. But at the same time, you have to realize this team was 4-12 last year. They hadn't changed much. The fact is, Chip Kelly came into his first season as an NFL coach with a team that was 4-12, a team that's just flat out not very good, average at best. So I'm not expecting a huge season. I'm expecting a little below average this year. So I can't really criticize him too much yet. However, I think clock management has been a little iffy. I didn't like Sunday when he got the delay of game penalty to punt the ball away rather than going for a long field goal. I think you have to be more aggressive against the Broncos. So for me, it's a C. He's been average so far.
Yeah, and I actually disagree with you guys. I think you can put a little more of the blame on him than a lot of people have done. I'm going with a D for Chip Kelly. And it starts at the beginning of the season when you pick Michael Vick over Nick Foles. I think in the long term,
You're that guy. You're that guy.
You have
Let's
to
hear
look
it.
forward.
You're the Foles guys.
You have 1 year with Michael Vick. Obviously, it's not a playoff team. Despite what you thought at the beginning of the season, we're all pretty clear on that now.
I mean, we're a game out of the division right now. I wouldn't say that
You're a
at all.
game out of the division.
It's a crappy
but
division.
You get to you get to the playoffs in that division, you go nowhere. Is that really a successful season?
Made the playoffs.
If you go 8-8, that's another
From a
successful
4-12
year.
season to 8-8 to a playoffs, like whether or not the division's bad or not, yes.
Vic is not coming back, is the problem. And so when you get to next season and you look at Nick Foles, you still have no idea what's sitting in your lap. Is he good? Is he bad? You don't know.
But Foles is still going to be sitting there next year. If, say, Vic comes in the season, and this is Vic's final year, like you're anticipating, you have Foles sitting there and you give him a shot then. The fact is, in the preseason and in training camp, this offense ran better with Vic. Foles ran it pretty well, but it ran a lot smoother with Vic, and therefore Chip Kelly felt he was the guy for the season. Bottom line. And so far, Vic has not been bad.
He has been bad.
Okay, well, the Kansas City game, he was bad. The first 2 games, Vic put up very good numbers. And even this game last week, the first half he didn't play bad. Second half was a train wreck for the entire team. The first half against Denver, he played decently well. So I think we swing on better Vic than last year. I wouldn't say it's been the wrong decision just
It's been a better Vic, but I'm talking long term. Next year, it's taken you 3 years now to find out whether or not Nick Foles can be a starting quarterback. But let me move on, because I want to talk about Chip Kelly more than I do Michael Vick.
Go on.
I think that his clock management's been bad. The choice with him's been bad. And this offense isn't what it was supposed to be out of the gate.
I think you're putting too much on him. For 4 games into this season, and we're playing a winless team this week and the week after, I think you're putting a little too much on him, but you have your opinion. And we're going to stick in football, but we're going to go to the collegiate level now. We're talking about Lane Kiffin. And just in case you don't know the story, USC fires Lane Kiffin not even 5 hours after the game, I think. I forget. It was like 5 hours after the game. They literally got to the airport, not even on the way to the campus yet, and they told him, Lane, you're gone.
Yeah, they didn't even let him on the bus.
We're going to start with you on this one. Kyle, did Lane Kiffin deserve to be fired in the fashion that he was?
Did he deserve to be fired? Yes. But no one deserves to be fired the way that they fired Lane Kiffin. They didn't let him get on the team. It hurts the team as well, because now coming off a hard loss, you're starting off hard to the season. You don't have a coach on the bus with you to kind of help you through that. Now you're a team with no direction because you don't have a coach with you. And from Lane Kiffin's standpoint, he's been on this team for a long time. I think it's a disrespectful move to fire someone right after they lose a game. And they said the decision was made in the third quarter. Mm-hmm. So they knew all along. They easily could have waited until the next day. Even that night, give him a phone call. But to do it right after in the parking lot is just a lack of respect from the team.
I'm going to agree with you 100% on this one. I'm not a Lane Kiffin fan. I don't think he's been a good coach anywhere he went. He was in Oakland with the Raiders, then he went to the University of Tennessee. He hasn't done much to prove to me that he's a very good coach in any aspect of football. However, I don't care who you are. Even if you deserve to get fired, you can't do it the way that the USC Trojans did. I mean, that's a football program that has a lot of history, a lot of respect, and I lost a little bit of respect for them on that one. At least get back to the campus. Get him in your office, be like, Lane, it's not working out. To do it at the airport before you even get on the plane.
Exactly. To take somebody.
It's a little much.
To take somebody after a big blow, too. Like, that's a big loss. They got blown out in that game. And to take somebody, it's just a reprehensible act by a collegiate organization to come out and do something to your coach. And I agree completely with what you said. That's a bad thing to do. It's a bad move, morale-wise, team-wise. If you get blown out and then the team gets back on the bus, it's like, where's the coach? It's just like, oh, he's fired. What did you do? You left him in the parking lot. Just like, how do you just tell somebody that you just left your coach in the parking lot, regardless of what his record was? I looked up the guy's stats. He was there for 4 years. He finished out with a 28-15 record. That's not that bad.
It's not USC, though.
It's not
what they want.
It's not what they want, but it's not that bad of a record to leave somebody in a parking lot.
It can never be that bad. I mean, again, I'm not a Lane Kiffin guy, but...
Like, I'm not saying there's a standard to where you can leave somebody in a parking lot. But I'm saying if there was, that's nowhere near what it was.
I'm not worried about Lane Kiffin. He's a big boy. He'll handle himself.
I'm sure he can take it.
But again, when you're in a college, you're setting an example for kids that are trying to make their way into the world. And what kind of example is it to fire somebody right after a game, right after a performance like that? You're supposed to be teaching these guys. That's not doing that.
Yeah, so we all agree on that one. And now we're going to go to a completely different sport. NBA training camp started today for a lot of teams. And it didn't start very well for the Oklahoma City Thunder. Russell Westbrook out 4 to 6 weeks in the season, actually. He's going to be out 4 to 6 weeks from the start of the season. How does that injury affect the Thunder this year in terms of, whether or not they're still going to be a legit contender in the NBA? We're going to start with you.
It's going to be big. It's going to be something that it's going to be interesting to see them progress through the season with, just because you have Westbrook and you have Durant. Durant's arguably the bigger name on the team. Yeah. But you have the two playmakers. Having Westbrook out, they're going to have to lean a lot more on Durant to get things done. And it will be interesting more so to see how he individually deals with it, more so than the actual team, I think. I think if he's going to crack under pressure, this team's going to struggle. But if he rises above that, he can drag the team with him and kind of wait until Westbrook gets back.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's going to be a struggle for OKC until Westbrook comes back. Kevin Durant, he's a great player. We all know that. He's been in the league a long time. But I don't think he can really sustain the offense that they had on his own. So as soon as he's ready to come back, I think that the Thunder are going to be just fine moving forward. Yeah. But while he's gone, it's going to be a real struggle for them. I think that offense is really going to suffer.
I wouldn't call it a huge struggle. Like, you are losing the main guy, like, I wouldn't say main guy in the offense, but the guy who runs the offense. Right. You know, he's like the quarterback of the offense, and then Durant's the guy who scores. Russell Westbrook is the playmaker.
He's throwing it down the court. And
exactly. However, as far as the whole season goes, this team is still going to be, in my mind, a top 3 team in the Western Conference. I think they're still my pick to make the NBA Finals this year. I think it's putting a lot of pressure on Durant. That's the main thing, but I think Durant can handle that pressure. Other guys on this team still aren't bad. It's not like this is a bad team. It's just Westbrook and Durant. I think that they'll be just fine. It's a blow because he's a superstar, but when it's all said and done, I don't think it really affects the Thunder as much as you two said it would. I think they're still going to be a playoff team throughout all of it. And again, when he comes back, I agree with what you said, that they're going to be probably division winners again.
Yeah, they're definitely favorites once he's back. But I think while they're gone, it's a superstar-driven league. And when you lose a superstar the way that they have now, you're really going to see a decline. They might still win some games. They're obviously going to win some games. But nowhere near the level that they have in the past 2 years.
We can get into a whole other argument about the NBA and how it's a superstar-driven league.
Sure
it drives me wild. I'm sure we'll get to that eventually.
As we get more NBA topics coming.
But we're going to have to cut the commercial break now. When we come back, we will talk about our early NHL favorites. Also, we will get a little bit of baseball talk in there. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back here on FaceOff.